All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Sunday Night Charts with Jim of All Trades. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're well. My name's Jim. I'm a crypto trader and a Forex trader here to help you understand the market from an Elliott wave perspective. Guys, so we're going to look at the charts tonight. We're going to try to do an abbreviated Sunday Night Charts. I'm going to just give you my thoughts as quickly as possible. Kind of get through the market relatively with some speed. I think some people appreciate that. Don't want a long, drawn-out protracted explanation of my thoughts. I've been doing that for quite a while. We're just going to kind of review, recap, and I'll talk about what I'm looking for. But guys, don't confuse anything I say for financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who looks at a chart through a theory called Elliott wave theory, and I'm pretty expert at that theory and applying it to modern markets. And if you need some help with that, you're studying Elliott wave and you want to understand how to apply those thoughts, this is the channel for you. If you don't understand Elliott wave theory, you're not going to be able to make sense of my technical analysis as far as the wave structure is concerned. Because that's what I'm offering. That's basically what I offer the YouTube world, is just an Elliott wave perspective. It doesn't mean I don't have other thoughts. I bring in geopolitical landscape. I bring in market maker understanding, liquidity understanding, volume analysis, and many, many other things. But those are the primary things. And we give you a viewpoint based on wave structure and how the market generally acts from a wave structure standpoint. So that's what I'm here doing. I'm not going to talk much about fundamentals in the sense that I don't think fundamentals are the way to trade. Why? Because you can have really great fundamentals and the market can still tank. So anyway, with that said, the market is a little pumpy at the moment, but there's a wave structure that explains it, and we're going to talk about it. But we're going to look at the bullish landscape as well as the bearish landscape. We're just going to kind of stay as balanced and as neutral as possible, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I personally am still bearish in this landscape, in this space. I've got reasons to be. I'm going to show you those reasons. That doesn't mean that Jim is right or Jim can't be wrong. And I say that because I do not want anybody taking trades based on just something I say. I don't even take trades based on my biases necessarily, though my biases do inform which direction I try to trade, but that doesn't mean I just willy-nilly enter into trades. I have a strategy and a setup that I look for and I trade by. I've developed a strategy that suits my personality. And so I trade that way. You need to do that as well if you're trading. If you're trying to trade this market, you need a strategy that includes good, emotion-free risk management. And that's very difficult to develop. That is the number one reason why you lose trades. It's your emotions are not stable. So anyway, I would encourage you, if you're trading, you definitely need to spend some time working on your psychology as well as working on patience in this market, understanding how the market moves. So with that said, let's jump into Sunday Night Charts. I'm glad you're here. What's up, Keith? Let me say hi to everybody that said hi to me. Keith M., how you doing, buddy? I'm glad you're running. I hope you run well tonight, and I hope the live stream keeps you entertained as you do it. What's up, ELJR? Elger? I don't know, Junior? L Junior? I don't know how to say it, but hey, welcome. Welcome to the channel. Glad you're here. I'll definitely give you a bullish scenario. Hey, Crypto. Fiva. Jay, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Glad you're here as well. Salvador Deza. Don't get FOMO here, buddy. I know you said you're feeling the FOMO. I got you. I got you, man. That's one thing I'll help you do is not FOMO. This is not where you want to be FOMOing in. I'm just saying. ET Power. Hey, woohoo. Glad you're here. 150K Epsilon is the top. Okay. That's definitely a perspective for sure, buddy. I've been calling 145 for quite a while, but I don't know that this wave structure is yelling for it yet. We're going to talk about how we might go up there. Is the wave structure screaming for 145 right now? I don't know. Potentially, but let's look at the scenarios and see what's going on. All right, guys. I think I've said hi to everybody that said hi to me. Let's jump into the analysis. Okay. All right. So looking at we're on the 8-hour chart, we are very overbought. We're overbought. We got overbought right here, okay, on this move to the upside, okay. We came down, reset that RSI, okay, with a hidden bull divergence, all right, which is indicative of a wave 4, generally speaking, when you get the hidden bull like that. Went up and got overbought again, created bearish divergence between that wave and that wave. Came down again, created some more hidden. It's not a perfect hidden bull, but certainly some bullish divergence there. And then we've hit the top again with another set of divergence. So we've got divergence. We've got double divergence sitting there. Okay, that means it is possible. We got three hits to the high here in the RSI and on the 8 hour, even the 12 hour. I think you got 3 hits to that high as well, with divergences. And so you look at that and you say, hey, there's a chance this wave is certainly fizzling. Normally, it will have reset and pulled back before at this point. If you look back at the history of Bitcoin, you rarely ever get 3 hits to the high. The last time we got 3 hits to the high was right here. See that right there? Same scenario pretty much. Okay. The first one, boom. Second one, okay. So the high got put in, and then we played around a bit. Okay. It got real corrective. That was a major correction, but that was the last time this scenario in the RSI happened like this. Okay. It was followed by corrective behavior. Okay. So I'm looking at this chart. We got the same kind of scenario, same kind of finishing of a wave happening where, I mean, in fact, you got a fractal rocking, to be honest with you. You got a fractal here. This wave right here is the same, really, same algorithm as that wave right there. It's a fractal play. So in other words, it just kind of kept pumping, and then finally it shot down. Okay. Pulled back, but eventually, even though it kept revisiting the top, it pulled back significantly. Okay, in a corrective wave. So, yes, I think we have the same scenario working here on the same time frame. You can look on the 12-hour, same kind of wave happening. So yeah, do we have the potential to kind of keep hitting high a little bit and keep pumping? Yeah, probably, absolutely. But eventually, one of these waves is going to take back, some key levels here, pull back, and then give us some more down. In other words, I believe a top is forming here, more than likely. This wave is just out of character for Bitcoin to sustain. Whenever you get a wave like that, it's generally followed by a pretty large correction. So large correction is incoming, guys, more than likely. Could it have already started? Yes, we're going to talk about small time frame analysis in just a minute. But yeah, so what do you do with this? How do you analyze this from a wave structure standpoint? Well, one of the things you gotta look at is, how did this wave right here? My mouse just froze. There we go. What is this structure right there? Okay. What it looks like to me is a part of a 3-wave move. Come on. Right there. 3-wave move to the downside. It's a W, X, Y. Okay, that's 3 waves. Now, how is that acting in the chart? Well, for me, this is going to be your A wave. That 3-wave move that I just highlighted is a B wave, and this is likely a C wave. Now, that's one way to interpret it. It may not be the correct way to interpret it, but that's one way to interpret it. You say, well, Jim, it took the high out. Yes, that's what expanded flats can do. Now, this in and of itself is an expanded flat. What I'm suggesting it's an expanded flat B wave. Okay, And in fact, so I'm calling this a wave B. You say, what's wave A? This is wave A right there. So that would be A. This is an expanded flat B that takes the top. It's calling for a wave C, which should be 5 waves fast and furious to the downside. Okay, it should be 5 waves fast and furious to be a 3, 3, 5 correction. Okay. So that's the first count. That's my primary count that I'm watching. I'm watching as a trader here. This took the low here in 3 waves. Whenever you get a low taken in 3 waves, that's usually pretty indicative of some kind of shenanigan move, a flat. Okay, especially when it's followed by an impulse wave. Okay, now this impulse wave has gone up higher than we had hoped. I was calling for 102, and I wanted to see the reaction there. Obviously, it's gone and taken the top. That's fine. There's liquidity up there. It makes sense for the top to be taken. All right, and the way this is going up in a straight format, and it feels like it's never going to stop. I have something I say in my Discord all the time, guys. When a wave gives you the sense that it's never going to stop, okay? I mean, this wave has not corrected substantially. This wave has not finished, and it just gives you the sense it's never going to stop. That's when the wave is going to stop, okay? And we have the divergences that we look time frames, the daily down to the 12-hour to the 4-hour to the 1 hour. We've got the divergences we expect to see at tops. For me, this is a real strong candidate for a B wave here, and it's going to surprise everybody if this is true, that if this comes down in a C wave that gets finally to our target zone of our first wave, first move to the downside. This would be a first 3-wave move down. Now, what I think will take place at that point, if that plays, I think people are going to look for that move, that this is just a 3-wave pullback, and we'll look for that. Certainly, if this move plays like this and we get a fast and furious wave to the downside like that, definitely we're going to get bullish again if we're getting signs of a finished move. Okay, so we want to see signs that whenever this happens, we want to see signs that that's finishing around the areas we expect it to finish. Okay, and we want to see the signs in the RSI across the different time frames that it's about finished. So we're going to be looking for this wave to be finishing, but it's got to start first, right? So it hasn't even really confirmed a start. And so this is the primary idea that I'm watching. I want to see if we're going to get something like that. Now, I do believe a correction is incoming. We do have, one of the things we have to keep in mind is that the end of the month is coming. So in other words, we have a monthly candle close coming. So just look at the monthly pretty quick and just kind of take a peek. What kind of monthly candle do we have at the moment? Okay. See if I can, I'm having a hard time with my internet right now. It seems a little laggy. Okay, so the monthly candle is the last 2 months are bullish engulfing. Okay, so we've got bullish engulfing candles on the monthly. Now, this month hasn't closed. Okay, so the question is, how is this candle going to close on the monthly? I'll tell you what, if it gets real dumpy before the month of the close, before the end of this month, if it starts to get real dumpy, this candle could turn from this big green, solid green candle to a candle with a wick on the top of it. And so if this starts wicking, that's going to give kind of a toppy look to it. If you look on the monthly chart, we also have divergences we expect to see at potentially the end of moves. Okay, we've got divergence here. Now the question is going to be, does this trend right here in the RSI get taken out? Okay, so if price on the monthly closes beyond that, then all of a sudden we get really bullish again, and we say, "Ooh, that divergence that we saw there was not at a top. It was at least it was between a 4 and a 5 of a smaller degree." When you look at this when you look at this wave, it's very much, you have a 3-wave shape. I mean, excuse me, a 5-wave shape to it, no doubt about it. And I think still it's potentially finished. So we have a 5-wave shape on the Bitcoin chart here: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that's what we expect to see in a 5-wave shape. Now we can get throwovers, and so this could be bullish and coming up bigger, and in such a way that we get an extended fifth or whatever. But that would be out of the character of the wave structure that we're looking for. That would be out of character for Bitcoin, in my opinion. Though we'll talk about that contingency of what the wave shape might look like. That would make sense. We'll look at that shortly. But nevertheless, we've got divergence here. But if this wave starts, if the RSI on the monthly starts getting above that trend line and closes above that trend line, then all of a sudden we get a bit more bullish as far as the way we're counting and analyzing this current wave. So we're going to watch for that for sure. Okay, now, so that's the monthly. So the big question is, how are they going to close this monthly candle? How it closes will kind of give a sense for what it's going to be looking like moving forward, right? Looking at the let's look at the 4-hour chart for a moment. If this has topped, if this is finished, there's a possible ending diag here, where you have how do you count this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 right there. Kind of an ending diagonal after a wave 4 here, okay, and then an ending diag, which are always hard because they kind of look corrective as they're being made, up, down, up, down, up, down, and boom, and then they take it out. This could be the first wave here of a move down, and now we're getting 3 waves back to the upside, retesting 618, 786 retrace of that wave to be followed by more downside. So from a Elliott wave standpoint, is that a wave 1, and we're now getting a wave 2? I think that's at least a valid way to look at this wave structure for sure. So what we want to see is, as this week goes, how is this wave that we're currently in going to find its finish? Okay, what's going to... I imagine they're going to play it. We've talked about this before, but I imagine they're going to play around in this range. The only problem I have with the top, this doesn't give me the feel goods for toppy formation. Whenever you see it rounded like this in price action, there's a good chance that wasn't the top, that was some kind of a wave 4. So, in other words, you kind of see how this was rounded here. I mean, certainly this is the way you count it. It's some kind of an expanded flat. But the point is that it's rounded. When Bitcoin likes to top in pointy features, it goes up and then rejects, right? So this would have been a great top here. In fact, it came down, breaking these levels. It gave a real sense for, hey, that's a potential top. I liked this as a triangle, and then one more hit to the high, and then boom, I liked that. That was a nice. Well, they took that out. So that idea, but that's the way Bitcoin likes to top, and it was at a price level I expected, just a little higher than I wanted it, but it was like, hey, that looked really good. So that looked really good to me as a potential top. They've taken it out. Now the question of the day is this equally as good? I mean, it's not as good as that was, because this was a nice pointy top. This is not as pointy, but it doesn't have to be. It's just that's the normal shape of tops. What you'll notice here is we do have a 5-wave count here. We can count 5 waves very simply. We got a 1 and a 2, and then we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's wave 3, there's wave 4, and then we got 5 waves in 5. So we have a 5-wave shape. Wave 4 does not encroach into the area of wave 1, so all the rules are validated and held up for Bitcoin. Did we make that low? Yeah, we did make the low right there. Boom. So this could be the first of three waves, in which that's 5, and then you could look for a 3-wave move and then look for 5 again to come up and retest the high. Or you could call this 3, play around a little bit, hit the high, boom, look for a move down. Okay. So the question is, if this is a top, is that a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It could be. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's one way to interpret that wave structure as 5 waves to the downside. Another way to interpret it is we could say, hey, this is 1, 2. We could call 3, 4, and 5. I'm not a huge fan of that, but that also works. And then we're going to look at this as a 3, 3, 5, and we're in the C wave, looking for this to finish whenever it's going to finish, and then looking for another move, another wave to the downside. Okay, so that's another. So the question is this right here a corrective wave? That's a good question. I don't have the answer. It's just I'm looking at that wave thinking, okay, is that corrective? Or is this impulse right there, that's impulse wave, wave 1, and now we're in correction here, in which we need a B wave and a C wave, or an X wave and a Y wave. This could be 3, 3, 3. Okay, goes up. I would expect this to be shallow and this to be fast and furious to the upside in 3 waves to give the impression this is going up, and then you see a swift reversal, in a day following the end of that correction. So that's the way tops like to form on Bitcoin, and that's the way But here's the deal: the psychology behind the tops is you always believe it's going to keep going and it's never going to stop. They get you to believe that. Why? Because they got to get you buying. Why do they need to get you buying? Because they want to sell. And who are they going to sell to? Themselves? No way. They need willing buyers from the market participation. Need willing buyers up here at these highs. Okay, and so retail traders, when they see price taking out the all-time high and then lingering there and kind of keeping pumping, and it just gives everybody a psychology that this thing is never going to stop. And once that psychology is dealt in, you got the FOMO that sets in, and people just jump in and buy up here at the very top. It's why you get stuck in trade after trade at the very top. You trade and you get stuck because this thing's never going to stop. It's never going to stop. And finally, you just like, I got to buy. I can't stop it. And then you finally buy right in here. And then before you know it comes down here, and you're like, oh crap. And then it pulls back and it comes back and it revisits your entry level. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm good, until it does that. And then you're like, oh crap, I'm really in trouble. And that's the way waves move. Okay. You just can't be buying at levels right here. This is not any kind of area in any trading world of my world to be buying. Okay, this is nowhere in a buy. There's no buy signal here, and there's no. This is not a buy zone. Your buy signal, if you wanted to buy with low risk, it was the break of that trend right there. Once that broke back to the upside here, that was an area you should have considered buying. You could have even considered rebuying the retest of this. You should have been buying, depending on if you're trading leverage or you're trading spot. This would have been a great spot area, a retest of this wave for support. This would have been an area to think about. You can also look for RSI breaks as a way to look for entries, but here, is this where you want to buy? No way. You don't want to be buying at all-time highs. Why? Because the next move, even if it goes up a little bit more, it's gonna hit here, and then you're gonna end up getting kind of a deep pullback, even if it's bullish, right? So this is the bullish scenario. You need a pullback of substance that retraces this wave at least 30%. At least 30%. You need a 30% pullback. Ideally, you get a 50% pullback. Okay, but 30% pullback is adequate. You need a 3-wave shape as well. You need boom, 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 3 waves. Okay, I need a 30% pullback, and then that would give me one more hit to the high. Get you up to 125, 130. Even you could get an extended fifth wave up here to my 145 target. That would be just fine and dandy to get something like that. Okay, but in order to get up here, guys, we need something of substance that looks like this. Okay, and we haven't gotten that yet. So I'm not looking for this thing to just skyrocket straight up to our target. I just don't think that's likely. Could it happen? Yeah. Could they pump the market up there? Yeah. But you better believe that I'm a seller, and I'm a hard seller if they pumped it up here. So that would be my contingency plan if they pump. But I wouldn't be looking to buy this to make a bunch of money on a move up to 150. Why not? Because there's, number one, it's more than likely the very last move of Bitcoin, and it's hard to trade the last move because Bitcoin has a way of giving you the sense that there's one more move, and you're trying to trade it, and it gives you the sense that it's coming up here, and you just you jump in, and when you do, they just take it down, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, and you get locked in and stuck. I can't tell you how many times as I've been learning to trade. In my journey of learning to trade, that I've been just trapped like that. When you think, oh yeah, this has one more move, this has another move, I'm going to trade that last move. So I have a general principle that I don't trade the last move unless it's just super clear. But I'm looking to scalp last moves, and I don't hold on to, if I'm trading the last move that I believe is taking place. I don't trade it with diamond hands, because if it doesn't give me what I'm looking for with relative speed, then I get out. But you got to have a strategy for trading the last move, and that's what I'm chatting with you about. This isn't an area where you want to be buying as an investor looking for a move up to 145. Why? Because your risk reward is it's 50-50 at this point. At this point, it's too much of a gamble. It's a 50%, because I have too many bearish counts that can take us down, right? And the sentiment of Bitcoin right now seems to be rather bullish. The way this wave is going up, everybody's looking for more up, and I think because everybody's looking for more up, it's more likely that we're probably coming down to take this low out. That's my take on it, and I think we can come out down and even take this low out fairly deeply. If that happens, though, that would kind of tip off that Bitcoin has indeed finished its up move, because that would solidify a move down. Okay, but it would be followed by a correction to the upside. So I would be getting bullish. If I got a 5-wave shape down here, I'd be getting super bullish on that, and I'd want to be trading to the upside on a correction that would last, the next year or so. Now it would be 3 waves, right? So it's hard to catch the first one or the bottom, so to speak. There are signs that a bottom is in. The bottom of a correction, that is. So anyway, but we do see something we do see as we look at the volume here in the daily. You see a steady trend to the downside. Okay. In other words, as price is moving to the upside here, the volume that's coming in to support the price movement to the upside is low. It's getting less and less. So the buying volume is not increasing here. It's decreasing. So it's letting you know that the move is fizzling, that the volume, and what's going to happen is on a particular day, a volume is going to come in. Okay. It's going to come in and take out all these peaks. Okay, so in other words, you're going to see a volume spike on the daily that is above these levels right here, above all of these. It's going to be a large volume spike, and it's going to let you know that more than likely the move started to the downside or finished to the upside. And so depending on the wave structure that we see accompanying that kind of a volume spike, okay, depending on the wave structure that accompanies that volume spike will determine what kind of trade that I take and when that volume spike comes in. But it would serve you to pay attention to those volume spikes because they let you know when moves are finished. Okay, that volume spike right here let you know that this upward move was about done. When that volume came in, there was only a little bit of the wave that came back, and of course, obviously, it played out. When that move came down, you'll notice the volume spike signaled the bottom of that wave. Okay, so those volume spikes come in, generally speaking, at wave end. Oh, sorry about that. I just hit the wrong button. They come in at the end and the beginning of waves. So it's not always easy to see it, and it's not always a perfect science, but that volume lets you know when moves are finished. So learn and understand volume analysis, and let that accompany your Elliott wave analysis, and it'll really help you. And then couple that with RSI analysis as well, understanding what shapes are made at the tops of RSIs. When waves are done. Okay, so so with that said, that's kind of my overall thinking here, that this could be a top for those reasons. The only thing I'm really missing is that big volume spike to come in. I would love to see that, and that would, depending on, again, when that came in and how it comes in, would indicate when this wave is done. Let's keep an eye on how this plays out. Certainly, could this wave pump up a little bit higher? Yeah, it can, but is it going to? I'm not here to tell you what it's going to do or not going to do. I personally am bearish, and I'm only looking for setups that take me short. You say, well, Jim, what if it goes up? Well, then if it goes up, I don't have a setup for short until I see my setup develop, right? So you need a setup, right? So just because I tell you I'm bearish doesn't mean I'm jumping in a short trade every 5 seconds. I look for a particular setup. The other thing is, too, I'm not greedy. I take my profit and get out of the market. I've learned to do that. I get in and out of the market as quickly as possible. An analogy I can give you is, what if you are swimming in a pool full of sharks, and at the bottom of that pool, however, you see a treasure chest, and you're like, man, if I time it just right, when the sharks aren't looking, or when the sharks are away, I could jump in, go down to the bottom, The question is, if you went down to the bottom, would you try to bring up the entire treasure chest, okay, in one fell swoop, okay? Or would you go and grab a handful of treasure, come back to the top, and get out of the water? Which makes more sense when you're swimming with sharks, okay? If you spend all the time in the water just trying to get all that you can in one shot, the longer you stay in the water, the more apt you are at getting eaten by the sharks. Okay, but if you'll go down and you say, you know what, I'm just going to get what I can grab at this moment, whatever the sharks give me, whatever they give me. In other words, when they swim away, I'm going to jump down there, I'm going to grab a handful, and I'm going to jump back up, and I'm going to take my profit. And then I'll look for another opportunity when the sharks aren't looking, when the sharks are swimming away, and I'll jump back in, go grab another handful, and I'll just keep doing it. And that is one of my philosophies for trading this market, that I've learned that it's best to get in and out of the market, take what the market gives you on a regular basis. That gives you opportunities every day, 3-4 opportunities or more, depending on your strategy. You have so many opportunities every day to take a little bit of treasure, and you just compound it in your trading account. And if you'll learn to do that and not allow greed to hold you in trades too long, and not allow your biases to and belief systems to manipulate your mind in trading against your rules, as long as you have good rules, then you can have a successful trading career. But trading isn't easy, and the reason it's not easy, it's not because trading isn't easy in and of itself. It's super simple to trade, but the problem is your psychology gets in the way. Your greed gets in the way, your fear gets in the way, and your hope exaggerates bad trades. So fear and greed will get you into bad trades, and hope will keep you in bad trades. What you have to do is learn to trade without fear and without greed, okay, and not allow hope to be the foundation of how you trade. Now, I hope it goes there. No, we don't talk like that. I hope it turns around. No, we don't talk like that. We don't trade like that. That's just gambling and wishful thinking. No, what we want to do is have a strategy for entry that has rules that we can execute emotionless. Get in and get out. We need rules for take profit. We need a strategy for taking profit, and we just do it over and over and over. Okay, well that's the way I approach the market. That's the way I approach this market. I don't swim with the sharks very long. Okay, I have found that when I swim with the sharks too long, that they smell blood and they come for my account. And I've had time and time again, I've lost accounts swimming too long, expecting a particular wave structure or a particular price target, and it just never comes, or it comes in a way that I didn't expect. Remember, the market most of the time goes where you expect it to go, just not in a way that you expect it. So, Jay, I totally respect your 125K target. Epsilon, I totally respect your 150K target. I do. I can see those targets as well for different reasons. But here's the thing. The market often goes where you expect it to go, just not in a way that you expect it. It won't go in a way that you can expect it. And so you're gonna have to learn a strategy that keeps you out of trouble. I'm in the process of mapping out my final course that I'm going to offer in my Discord, just my opus, my trading opus, because I've been trading for years. I've been learning how to lose and learning how to win since 2017, and I finally have developed my strategy in such a way that I can now, I can trade full time. I'm hoping to finally trade full time in August. We got some life changes going on as well. I'm going to be moving back to Missouri from Michigan, so I'm going to be back in Central Time pretty soon. But anyway, my life's changing a bit. But I'm hoping to be trading full time in August once we transition there. But that said, it's taken me a long time to develop my own psychology around these rules and understand. And if you don't take time to develop your own psychology, you're going to struggle. That is the name of this game. It is dealing with your own psychology. Okay, and so let me just encourage you guys. You're going to have to deal with your psychology, and if you don't, you got to deal with your fear and greed. You guys are greedy. Crypto traders and some of the greediest people I know. And if you want to be a successful trader, you've got to deal with that greed. Let me give you a good Bible verse if you want to know. I keep this posted on my chart as a reminder. Paul told Timothy in his letter to Timothy in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6, godliness with contentment is great gain. And that's an oxymoron or a ironic statement. If you hear contentment is gain. The nature of contentment says, I have enough. I'm satisfied with what I have. That's what contentment is. And Paul tells Timothy, that's how you gain a lot, is you learn to be content. And so greed says, I need more. Contentment says, I have enough. Okay? So when you understand contentment, and how to overcome greed with contentment, you'll understand that you can take profit and say, you know what, this trade, if I stay in the trade, it could offer me more, but I have a profit right now. And if I take the profit, I can be content with that. I have it and it's enough. And I can look for another opportunity to make money in the market. So I do, as part of my trading opus, I'm going to have one video just solely to the biblical principles, that I trade by. I have a mana principle that I trade by. I have a contentment principle that I trade by, and I'll be sharing that. So that's going to be exclusively for my Discord members. Coming soon to a Discord near you, Jim of All Trades Discord. I'll let you know when that's created. If you guys are interested in having that my trading opus. Have you guys ever seen Mr. Holland's opus? It's his that was a great movie, but it's an opus is my greatest work, my masterpiece, right? And so I'm gonna consolidate all my trading years of experience down to just a handful of videos that just simplifies how I trade and why I trade the way I trade. And I pray that it'll benefit. But that's going to be it. I'm going to let that be the end. And I don't know how many more years I'm going to do my Discord. I might just go to full-time trading and just enjoy trading by myself. I'll probably keep the Discord open eventually, but I don't know how that's going to look in the coming years. But I do know things are changing. And I'm just tired of being a YouTuber at some level. It's a lot of work. It's why I haven't been making videos for the last year or more. It's a lot of work. It's very, very tiring. So if there are guys out there that you enjoy listening to and watching on YouTube, really do them a favor. Subscribe to their channel and like their stuff and comment, because it is true that YouTube only pushes videos that are liked and subscribed and those things. So, anyway, no, he wasn't with Crypto Savvy, was he? Kimo Sabi, come on, man. Come on. Oh. All right. You hurt my feelings, Kimo. Oh, well. All right. Well, let's jump into the small time frame analysis. Talking about let me jump into the higher time frame bullish analysis here. What you have is what appears to be a 5-wave shape, okay, with divergence and all the divergences we expect to see. What if that's not 5 waves? How do we look at it? I suppose what you could do here is move the wave 4 to here. And it's a trashy wave 4. It is no good, okay? But then wave 5. We're in wave 5. Now, if this is a wave 5, I need to see this kind of I need to see a small wave and then another hit to the high. Okay, I need to see a small wave and then another hit to the high. That's what I would expect to see. That small wave would give you some kind of a that gives you some kind of hidden bull, and then you get another top, and then you get divergence. So that's the bullish hope there to get up to anywhere from 130 to 145 range. Yeah, that is the name we shall not mention. It is the name we now shall not mention on my channel anymore. No more. If you guys don't know, Crypto Savvy and I have some bad blood, and I don't care for the dude at all. He's not a good dude at all. Didn't treat me well at all either. So it just not. Yeah, I don't have good memories of that. All right, moving on. So that's the bullish count there. Now, looking at the small time frame, let's just take a peek, and then I'll look at Monero. And somebody asked me to look at XRP. I'll definitely look at XRP, Ethereum, and Monero for you guys. Small time frame. I think I already looked at this. There's a couple of ways of looking at this. So yeah, is that an impulse wave? Does that impulse wave end here? Okay, this could be a wave 5. All right, if that's the case, this could be 3 waves. All right, if that's 3 waves, you could get another 3, and they could double it up, get you really bullish, and then trash it down. Okay. You'll notice it's not convincing, but we did that volume spike came came here on that breakout. So that's actually initiating a move, not ending a move. So not bad for bullish sign there. But we are overbought here in the 30-minute. Let's see what the hourly looks like. It's not finished yet. It's not ready to be done. Not getting the wave structure that looks finished there. So yeah, what I need to see is a 3-wave pullback of substance here on the hourly, okay, to get bullish again, right? To look for a trade setup, to look for an entry. I need some kind of pullback, right? That gives me, somewhere that I can enter into a trade. But right now, nothing. All right, so we've looked at Bitcoin on the small time frame. I realized I was just about to go through this analysis I already went through, so I don't want to redo that. So let's look at Ethereum very quickly. Then I'll look at XRP and then Monero, and then go ahead and put your requests into the for any of the top cryptos. I don't want a bunch of crap coins, guys. So yeah, keep the S coins out of the requests if you could. Just because, they're just pumping up coins, guys. They're not really. It's just complete manipulation, as if anything isn't manipulation. It's all manipulation, but there is wave structure to look at. But I just rather not do the S coins if you don't mind. But if there's some major ones that you want me to look at, top 20 crypto, then yeah, let me know. Stuff that has real use case, that has longevity in the market. Let's look at the 12-hour chart on XRP. What I see here is we had a strong hidden bearish divergence right here, strong hidden bear. And this has come up to the level of a wave 4 of a large degree. This is 1, 2, 3. This is a wave 4 in my world, looking for a wave 5 to the downside. 5 waves, that would correlate with the 5-wave move I'm expecting to see in Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm looking for 5 waves down in Ethereum, looking for 5 waves down in Bitcoin. Okay, so there's 2 charts that are calling for 5 waves. Why am I looking for 5 waves here? Let me explain it very quickly. When you count this, how many do you count there? I count 3. When I count this, I count 3. That 3 took out this top. Okay, so that's 3, and then that's 3, took the top out, or came back 100% or a little bit more, right? So that's the beginning of a flat. This needs to come down in 5. I don't have 5 finished waves. I don't have 5 finished waves. I don't have the divergence I expect to see at the end of a wave. Nothing. Okay, so what I have here is a really ugly and nasty wave 4. Okay, I got a wave 4. That created hidden bear. That's beautiful, right? Looking for a 5th wave down. So in other words, the C wave of a big flat here, A, right here, A, B, and then C. Okay, the C wave needs 5 waves. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, where's 3? Right here, 3, 4. It could be a little bit more top formation to create, but it needs. And then looking for 5 down, 5. Okay, looking in the smaller time frame, 4 hour, you already have a 1, 2 already potential. Make sure that top didn't get taken out. Hold on one second. The high was 27.34, 27.39, perfect. So this high was held. Okay, that could be a leading diagonal. Boom. That's 1, wave 1, and this could be wave 2. That high was upheld, and now we got a 1, 2 forming. This is impulse, 3 waves, looking for more down. Okay, and so whenever this finishes, looking for this to flag out over the next week or so. Okay, this is probably going to flag out here over the next week, and then so we're going to play around in here, liquidity, and then boom. Okay? So that's what I expect to see. That's what I'm looking for on Ethereum. That looks really, really good. So that's the way I'm counting Ethereum. Now, what's the target for Ethereum? Well, let's pull the fibs. Talk about targets. Okay. The 1618 is down here at $900. Okay. That's a really good target. A retest of this low in 5 waves, anywhere from $1,000. If this low wants to hold, that's fine, right? So 1,000. If 901, if $900 holds, that could be that could be some kind of impulse followed by a 3 wave that retests the low, and then boom, we go. So we come down, hit the low, and then we go. Okay, so that's a bullish scenario. Okay, or this gets really deep and comes down here, and then all of a sudden you've got 3, 3, 3. Okay, now I drew it to 0. That shouldn't be right. Let's get it here to $400. Okay, $400. Let's draw this trend line. There you go, $400 or $500. It wicks down here to that level. Is that possible? Yeah. Then all of a sudden you've got this really beautiful 3-wave shape where Ethereum's finished, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse. That's an impulse wave, followed by a 3-wave correction, multi-year bear market. Boom. Okay. And then up. So is it going to come down here and give us a wave 5? I don't know. So what's another scenario here? Another scenario is that this 5 waves is in fact finished. It doesn't look finished to me, but let's just say it is. So this is some kind of 3. That's 3. We could get some kind of 3 here. Okay, but it needs to develop in 3. So I need some kind of corrective wave, something like this, right? Okay, and then you got W, X, Y, and then it comes down. Okay, that's possible as well. Okay, what I know is that this doesn't look like any impulse I've ever seen. This looks very correct. This right here looks corrective in nature. It doesn't look like an impulse. It doesn't count like an impulse. Okay. Now, if I'm wrong, that is impulse, I suppose this is the way to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, truncated wave 5. Or that is a wave 5. It's just truncated. It didn't come up to target zone. And that this is the first wave down, or this is 3 waves of some kind, and it's finished. Okay, and now we're in an impulse. We get a correction, and we get more up. And that's a bullish scenario right there. But you get a small correction here. We need that correction. Okay, that correction will be important for the longevity, okay, of the wave structure. Okay. All right. So, but I've offered two charts now. BTC expecting 5 waves down. Let's go to the daily. Okay. Looking for 5 down, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fast and furious. Okay. Looking for 5 down in Ethereum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. May take this low, may not take that low. We'll have to see. It'll change the way I look at this wave to the upside depending on if that low gets taken. Okay. Okay. But that 5 waves will correlate with BTC. So let's look at XRP and say, is there 5 waves in XRP that we could be looking at? Let me just reload this chart. Reload. There we go. Okay. Let's go to the 3-day chart. One of the things that bothers me on XRP, let me go to a different XRP chart to give more. There we go. You'll notice that when XRP goes straight up, whenever you see these straight up moves historically, okay, boom, right there, boom, right there, boom, right there, boom, right there, okay, right there, right there, okay. This structure is no different than any other time in XRP's history. What has it done every time without exception. Without exception. What has it done? It has taken back all of price. Okay? Every time it's gone straight up and then begun to correct. Okay? All right. It comes all the way back down to the origin of the breakout. Every time. Never fails. 3 complex waves. Okay? So right here, boom, straight up, came all the way back to the origin. Here, straight up, all the way back down to the origin. Straight up there, all the way back down to the origin. Straight up there, all the way back down to the origin. Okay, straight up there, all the way back down to the origin. Straight up here. Why all of a sudden is XRP going to do something different? I mean, I suppose it could. Why not? But if you want to talk about the historical price movement of XRP, I'm expecting price all the way back down to the origin. It's when you see this thing go and continue straight up. Okay? That's what you need to see. This wave, if it's going to go to our big targets, it needs to keep going and not stop until it's finished. And then eventually it'll come all the way back down to the origin, right? It will. I mean, because that's the way this thing moves. But these sticks, these price movements will continually get bigger and bigger. Okay, if XRP is going to be around and stay around, right? But I would suggest that because BTC is looking like we need 5 waves down, Ethereum's looking like we need 5 waves down, I suggest that it's appropriate to look for 5 waves to the downside all the way back down to the origin. So when BTC dumps, if it dumps, okay? If ETH dumps and BTC dumps, then I'm expecting XRP to also dump all the way back down to the origin. That's just the way price generally moves. Now, that's anecdotal for sure. And that's the way XRP has moved. Now, you'll notice also that we have some major, well, let's go to the daily here for a moment. You'll notice here we have major volume spikes, okay? So we had volume spike come in, boom, volume spike come in, boom. This is at the beginning of the move, right? But this one here was at the end of the move. What's interesting is we often pay attention to the volume cancellation. I haven't really ever taught this, but basically you have volumes. Volume came in to start the move, and then volume came in to finish the move. It's like as much volume as started the move, it came in and finished the move. Okay. So now we have a move to the downside with lots of volume, and it seemed to mark a bottom. And we got to move back up, right? Looking for the same type of volume to the downside. Okay, so this volume came in and it marked this wave to the upside. Okay, looking for the same kind of volume now to finish the move down. So I'm looking for a volume spike here, boom, to cancel that bullish volume that's going to take out that bullish. And so I see 3 potential waves here. Okay. Now, could XRP pump up the jams? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it could. So how could it go? Well, I mean, you could see some kind of a move up here like that. And this could be some kind of a, if it gets pumpy here, this could be some kind of 3-wave flat, right? So this is the first wave. This is the second wave, looking for the 3rd wave down. So that's a scenario. That's a way XRP could go. There's still plenty of room to the upside here on the RSI, on the daily, for XRP to go to the upside. So that's certainly a possibility of wave structure here. But what I find interesting is that whenever, let's see, let me go to the smaller time frame. Oh, yeah, excuse me. See this wave right here? See that wave right there? We have the same shape wave, it's just bigger. And basically it was down, down, down. Same shape, just bigger, backed up to the same level area. I would not be surprised to see this down, down, down from here. You could count XRP. Just looking at this wave, you have a 1, 2, okay? Then you have another 1, 2. Now what? This could be a 1, 2. This could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That could be setting up for major movement to the downside. That's one way to look at it. Okay. The other way to look at it is that this was 3 waves. This is bullish now. Boom. The problem is you had a 3-wave move here that this low got taken out. Okay. You got a potential 5-wave move there. So what's that doing? Well, I don't know. 5 waves, it's impulse, right? So let's turn the VWAP off. There we go. Let's look at the wave structure. How do we count this? How do we count this? Okay, you got a leading diag potentially up in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you got a WXY or an ABC WXY, or we can put the X right here and then make the Y. So we got 3 waves up. Now what? 5 waves down. This looks like A, B, C right there. I see 5 waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. There's 3. What's this? What's happening? Well, you can count this a couple of ways. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In which case, what are we looking for? We're looking for this to 3, something like this, to be followed by downside. So we're going to get pumpy over the next day or two and then dump. And that wave structure, just looking at the waves there, again, you got 5, wave 1, wave 2, 5, 1, 2, 1, or 2. Okay? Or they could do it this way. You could count it this way. This could be A, B, C. A, B, C. Now what? A, B, C. And that what that would be is a W, X, Y. Now, in the bullish world, that could be followed by more upside. 3 waves down, so some kind of weird impulse, followed by 3 waves, more upside. Or this could be the beginning. This C wave could get a lot deeper. You get 3 waves back and then more down. But because we're looking for, what do you call it? 5 waves on BTC. I'm wondering if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 setting up for a day coming this next week where we get a pretty decent move to the downside. Notice this volume right here. That's very large volume right here at a top. Okay. Notice the volume here that came in at a bottom, and then we got a nice move to the upside, okay? Notice this volume here, and then we got nice move to the downside. We got the similar size. So this doesn't appear to be finished. It should probably, if this volume indicates the kind of move that we got, this volume is indicating the kind of move that we're really looking for here. Okay, something of a similar size. So volume analysis for me is saying most likely down. Just looking at where volume is coming in. Notice you had a volume spike here, volume spike right there. The price came all the way. Once you got that volume spike, the price came all the way down, took that low. You got now that's a really big volume spike. Then you had this volume spike right here. It took that low. Okay. Now we had some more volume come in 3 different candles here at a bottom, right? So that's letting you know this is, push up. Notice it came up and took that high. Now we had the same volume come in. Okay. This might be indicating ready to come down and take this low out now. So for me, the volume analysis is probably pointing down on XRP. That's not a perfect analysis, and that's not always simple, but that's something to look at. Also, just looking at the 1 hour chart, you'll see the major hidden bearish divergence. There's really strong hidden bear on the 1 hour. You notice that we've retested this peak here. Okay, that's correlated to that right there. So that could be a 3-wave pullback here could reset that and then go up higher. That's fine, right? That's how it could go up and still have that hidden bear, no doubt. So we do have, it is Memorial Day tomorrow in the United States of America. So we are memorializing and remembering those who have died in battle for the protection of freedom in the world. So tomorrow's Memorial Day for the United States. That's a bank holiday. Banks are closed tomorrow, so I don't know how that's going to affect the market, but we will be the only game in town where the market will be open 24/7 as far as crypto is concerned. All right, so that's XRP. Let's look at Monero, and then we'll take a look at USDT dominance on the macro. Somebody asked me to look at the Dow Jones. Let's look at the Dow and count it. I can't remember. It was in the chat somewhere. So if I haven't mentioned, I'm going to do yours. Just let me know what you want me to look at. But for me, the analysis is, again, just evidences are pointing to the downside and wave structure to me. Let's look at Monero next. Monero. Does Coinbase have XMR? I don't see Coinbase. Doesn't look like it's on Coinbase. So let's just use I don't know what chart is best. Let's try USDT. Let's do XC. Why not? Weekly chart. Yeah, see, if there's a chart that looks almost finished, that chart looks about done. I mean, what do you see here? You see 3 waves right there off the bottom, 3 waves. Then you got 3 waves back, 90%. What do you got? You got impulse. Okay, just looking for pullback and pullback. Another hit to the high, dump. So we're almost topped here. Now, that's ideal in an ideal world. But if you look how Monero has topped in the past, the last time we topped here, we came straight down, all the way back down, 5 waves. So Monero looks like a very nice 3-wave move. The RSI on the weekly is very, very overbought. It's so overbought. The only thing we're missing is divergence. Let's look at the 3-day no divergence. Let's look at the daily. The daily has some. We got just a little bit of bearish divergence. This is rolling over on the RSI. So this is finishing. Okay. So I mean, for me, Monero is a big time sell at this level. That's my take on Monero. That's what I'm seeing here. It's a sell for at least a correction minimum. But when have you seen the price action of Monero do this and then not do this? Okay. So yeah, could it? If you'll look at this pump here, okay, it did go up. Boom. It corrected, went up, corrected, went up. So yeah, correction up. If it wants to pump, it can. But we're seeing signs of it fizzling. Oh. We're seeing signs of it in the RSI fizzling. That's the 3-day. That's a daily chart, guys. Very overbought. So that's Monero for me. I hope. Let's look at the Dow Jones. Was it the Dow? Who asked me for the Dow? Pipe in now. Where was it? Who asked me for the Dow? Delta Pope, are you still around? Anything you want me to look at from Monero? I mean, does that help you? Oh, okay. So Epsilon wants the Dow. Any particular chart? Any particular Dow Jones chart? You want US 30? Which Dow Jones chart do you want, buddy? Bitcoin Andy, are you holding a leverage to trade or are you spot trading? Epsilon, which Dow chart do you want? You got a spot trade in XRP. Well, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I just have ways that I trade, right? So for me, deleveraging, or de-risking or selling my position, the moment I had that wave structure there and a break of that structure here, this was your sell up here at that price. At this point, you're back a little bit bullish here. If it breaks that trend line there, you get a little bit more bullish. If it breaks that to the upside, if that level gets broken, then you're going to look for other signs of breaking back down to sell. But you want to sell the breaks. You want to. So again, for me, while XRP could go up, I mean, there are people that believe, if you watch Blockchain Backer, that XRP is going up to $11, $8 to $11 if you watch Blockchain Backer. And he's a good dude. I like him a lot, and that's a real possibility. I just don't have any price action that supports for me. Whenever XRP does these straight up things, it usually comes down in 3 waves. Back down here, this would be the buy zone again down here for XRP. I sold, by the way, Bitcoin Andy, I already sold my XRP position. I'm not comfortable in a long. For me, I'm not comfortable in a long. But, buddy, you got to make your own decision, and you've got to be convinced yourself. So please do your own research and have your own strategy, and have a strategy for re-entering a long so that you don't miss out on a big pump. So you just make sure you're prepared for the opposite side of the trade, and you're okay investing again in a small risk area. You don't just FOMO in on pumps or after pumps, that you actually know what you're doing as a trader, have a plan, right? But for me, I mean, yes, just looking at the daily, there is room for this thing to pump. There's no doubt about it. But is that the way the price action normally moves is the question, okay? In my opinion, no. I'm looking for something fast and furious to the downside. It's setting up for that, I think. But again, that's my bias. I believe that in Bitcoin. I believe it in Ethereum, and it kind of can with those two charts. And then just looking at XMR, it's looking toppy as well. Just kind of looking generally at the charts, they're all looking kind of like, hey, a big move to the downside could be coming. Could they keep pumping it? I mean, they can do whatever they want to take people's money. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so just be careful. DJI. Okay, let's look at DJI. It's about time you figured it out, buddy. All right, looking at the monthly wave structure of Bitcoin, okay, not Bitcoin, I'm sorry, of the Dow Jones, okay. What we're seeing here is we have a really we got a wave right here, a wave one right there, followed by a three wave move, and that was pretty big, okay. Now we got pump, we got a three wave, pump, three wave. So the question is this going to come up? This is definitely fizzling, but I could see another pump. I mean, it could definitely pump. You can see this wick that's looking awful, look very much like this one, right? So is this going to continue to pump up and make a higher high? That's very possible, okay, on the monthly. Looking at this wave structure, I had, I don't know how to read this. This looks like a wave three. And my inclination is that this kind of looks kind of bullish. But the problem is I don't have any geopolitical reason to believe just the current landscape to believe that this is pumpy. How do I read this? Let's go to the 2-month chart. Oh, interesting. So what I'm getting here is I'm getting divergence between this wave and that wave right there. You see this? The top of this wave. And that could be, this all could be a wave 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth. That's a gnarly, nasty extended fifth, but it's possible because we're getting this divergence. You can see that we got the hidden bear, the hidden bull here on this potential. This is what wave 4s do, okay? And then you just got this move up, wave 5, and they're just pumping it to the top here. That's a way to look at that, and that makes sense. So this could be an extended fifth wave. I liked the end of the fifth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here, okay? But they pulled it back and gave us one more hit. Are they pulling it back? Are they going to fake that out and give us a dump now? Maybe. Because if this starts dumping, okay, looking for down, sell off over the next, over the next, major. The next 5 to 10 years, depending on how it comes down. But a market collapse is imminent, in my opinion, in the next in the next 3 years, more than likely. We're going to a digital society where everything is going to change, and so current markets that we're investing in right now, money is going to move
money is going to move out of them into the new markets, into the new economy. So I see the legacy markets as we know it, the Dow Jones, the S&P, the NASDAQ, they're all ready for a collapse. They're all prepping for a final sell-off. But it's not going to be sold off into the dollar. It's going to be sold off into gold, right? And so we ought to see gold taking off even more than it is. This is silver. I see silver ready to bust up and out of here. It's ready to pop off. Silver looks about ready to do that. Gold, you say it's been popping off. Well, it still has more to go. Okay. Could it take a reprieve here and a correction? Yes, but it could also just pop off. It just depends on when the market sell-off happens. It's impossible to know. All right. Timing is so hard, guys. Cue the gold chart. Yep. See, we've taken out the divergence has been taken out here on this move up. It is ready for a correction, though, which that correction could last years. Something that big right there, that was 2020 to 2022. That was a 2-year correction right there. So we get a 1-year correction and then more up. So it's possible we get a 1-year correction and then more up. So that correction is likely and possible. We get a reprieve on gold for a little bit. Maybe silver pops off while gold is correcting. Who knows? Epsilon, I think it's going to be devastating. What is the percentage? I mean, who knows? 80% eventually. Maybe not. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. But the thing is, what's happening is that we're going to a digital economy. So the economy as you know it is going to completely be altered. None of the rules are going to play as we know it because we're going to a different economy. Right out of the words of Jerome Powell, we're moving to a different economy, and it's going to be leveraged to digital money. So the rise of digital money and the way money is going to be moving into the digital world, right? But I think it's going to be moving. Boson, I think it's going out of the markets into gold and silver, not into the dollar. I think from gold and silver, it's going to move into crypto, but not the crypto landscape that we know right now. I think Bitcoin's probably here to stay. Ethereum's probably here to stay. And there's a handful of cryptos that are here to stay. Everything else is just S coins and just stuff that's designed to keep you confused, right? And playing the game of trading. But really, I think there's a crypto winter coming as we know it. That's gonna, where Bitcoin's gonna correct in a multi-year bear market, probably hit 40,000 again. 20, as low as 20, but it probably just wick. It could be even as low as 12. I don't want it to go that low, but it could. Especially if there's a major FUD incident, a major black swan event. But it's not going to spend any time at those levels. It's going to come back into the $20,000 to $40,000 range and stay there for a bit. It should range from 40 to 70 over years, finding a base before it pumps up out and out. Especially as adoption picks up and as the governments move us into the digital landscape. But I do not believe that Bitcoin is the government's solution for exchanging of money. No, stable coins are going to be the solution. So what does that mean for Bitcoin, and what does that mean for the current crypto landscape? I don't know, but I do know this, that the powers that be, they're in complete control. and they have lots and lots of money, and it requires them to take money from the little guy. And in order to do that, the little guy has to be a willing seller. And how are you going to get bull tards when prices just pumping? How are you going to get bull tards turn into sellers? Well, you got to dump the price. You got to dump it, okay, so that you get willing sellers, and then they can buy it up again, okay? So I don't, of course, you also, in order to dump it, you got to have willing buyers. And so that's why we're spending so much time here at the top and revisiting the top several times so that we have willing buyers. And so you got the FOMO buyers coming in, the stupid money, as we call it, dumb money, as we call it, is coming into the market now, buying Bitcoin, while smart money is selling into those buys, only to repurchase at proper repurchase levels, which the next level is 50K, 50 to 70K range. But we've already kind of hit the 70K range. We're probably going down to the next level, fast and furious, and that'll be the next buy zone for a time. But it may take a third wave down to about 40 to 20K. So that's what I'm seeing coming. But as that happens, I think the money's going to move out, and I think that gold and silver are just going to skyrocket. I think all the markets are going to tank together. There's going to be some black swan event, some global calamity every market's going to melt. And the powers that be, they're just going to buy up all those markets at the bottom and they're going to get in at the best prices as we shift over to the new digital economy. So, I mean, that's what I believe. That's what I think is happening. I think this Bitcoin wave that we see on the macro was just a ploy to get you to understand and think and believe that digital assets can be real and adoptable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push, push, push. What happens after 3 pushes? 3 waves down. This is what I believe is coming. It's possible that we're currently in this wave. You have 3-wave shape, 3 waves down. And then after that happens over the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, this kind of wave, and then we transition to a digital economy, because in this environment, some black swan event is happening. Okay. All right. As long as we come down here and we maintain this level and we start going back up, it's just a dip. It's just to buy the dip. But as soon as that level gets taken out, we got to have a reason for it. There's going to be a black swan event that everybody's going to have a reason for the sell-off, and that's going to give everybody a reason to buy. And everybody's going to be screaming death to crypto down here. Death to Bitcoin, death to crypto. All the big boys are buying down here for the eventual move up to $1 million that everybody's looking for. Okay. So anyway, that's kind of what I think we're doing. That's kind of where I think we are in the Bitcoin chart. I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. So, and I always say I could be wrong because I don't want you to have too much confidence in what I say. I'm sharing what I think and why I think it, but I don't want you to make stupid decisions based on some guy on YouTube that's sharing his thoughts. I just think that's scary to me. And I don't want to feel responsible for anybody's bad decisions, okay? Because I'm a trader. I trade, okay? I can go up and down, and I can shift my mindset when I see certain signs. And so, anyway, you need to learn to trade if you're investing. Even if you're investing, you got to have a trading strategy. All right. Let's look at LTC. I think I forgot I was supposed to look at something. Oh, Metis. Yeah, let me look at Metis for Mr. Farrell here. And then I'll look at LTC. And is there anything else I missed? Always giving me these crap coins, man. Yeah, heading down to zero. Yeah, I mean, what's happening? Well, we got a three-way pullback right here, probably coming down to retest that low, maybe even take it out and then play around. So yeah, I'm still bearish on this guy, but yeah, probably going to play around in a correction here. Oh, USDT dominance. Yeah, that was the other one. Thank you. Impossible to know, but yeah, this is some kind of, you see the hidden bear here? That's major hidden bear looking for more down. Another hit to the low is likely. Faux show. Yeah, I mean, if this is finding support here, I mean, and I suppose it could be, right? Probably this wave has to come down a bit more, get a little bit more bearish before it's going to rally to the upside. So I would say more downside on that wave for now, best I can tell. Kind of resembles what's going on right there. Or even this wave right here, right? One more hit, and then something to the upside. That's if it's going to hang around, if it's going to be here. Yeah, so this doesn't look ready. But I'll tell you this. When do I get more bullish in the small time frame? Yeah, if that breaks to the upside, I get more bullish. Right now, this looks down. Which one were you talking about, Michael Anthony? Which chart with the arrow? I'm not sure. I draw arrows on all my charts. Direction. Let's take a peek at XRP. I already did Ethereum. Just rewind and look for the chart. You'll find it at Alexandre. Arrow at the top of the chart. I don't know. All right, let me look at USDT dominance here. That looks bearish. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, at one level it looks bullish, right? That looks three-wave-ish. Boom. Is this going to roll up and provide some kind of three-wave move for down? So if we go up, USDT goes up, Bitcoin's heading down. Well, that's dominance, though. But the dominant, I mean, this wave, the ultimate direction is down, but could we be in an intermediate wave to the upside? Yes. With more down later. Pas de quoi, Alexandre. Olivier. So yeah, I mean, we could be in an intermediate wave to the upside. This is a 3-day chart, right? That's 3 days. So looking at the 4-hour. 6 hour. I mean, nothing there. Oh, I wanted to look at Litecoin. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the overall direction is down on the 3-day, but man, could we be in a wave that's going back up? Yeah, yeah, but man, see that move right there? Very similar to this here. Looking for a move up. So we could take a move up here with more down later. So we could be ready for a move up, and if USDT goes up, then looking for down on Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at Litecoin. And then we're going to call it a night, guys. Enjoyed hanging out with you. Hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Sunday Night Charts. Hope you learned something along the way, and hope you got some rational TA along the way as well. Yeah, this chart is a mess for me. It is a mess. The LTC chart. Why? I mean, man, because it just doesn't have any wave structure. It's just pump and dump. But I mean, looking at it, I mean, obviously, maybe down. This is a weekly chart, right? So we really don't have any power here on the weekly. So if we go to the daily here, definitely the power of the moves are just so weak right now. But this looks like an impulse. That looks like 3 waves. You could get a pump here and then 3 waves and then boom. Or this could turn into 3 waves and you get more down, right? This could be 3, 3, 3. Yeah, that could totally be 3, 3, 3. I'll be honest with you, LTC is just a conundrum to me. It just doesn't look good at all. Other than, I mean, yeah, yes, it has the look. Yeah, let's go, right? It has that look. So that might be where it's heading. But it just doesn't seem to be correlating with anything that I know. So I'm not super. LTC is kind of an outlier chart for me. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So sorry about that. Well, guys, enjoyed hanging out with you. We're going to call it a night. I'm pretty tired. Thanks, Kimasabi, for being here as always. And, yeah, let me just encourage you to be safe in this environment. Stay safe out there. Trade well and be smart. If you don't have a trading strategy, I've got a Discord that helps people develop those strategies. I've got a current... Oh, okay, Michael Anthony. Yes, let me do the PFE chart, but I just want to give you a warm invite into the Discord. But I am, like I said, in the process of getting ready to make my Opus trading course, and so I'm going to update the current trading course that I have with a brand new consolidated one. So that's coming. I'll let you know when it's out, and then maybe you could come join. But let me do the PFE chart, and then we'll call it a night. PFE, is that what it's called? PFE. Pfizer. Oh, okay, Pfizer. Yeah, okay. Okay, as far as Pfizer's concerned, couple of ways to look at this wave structure. The bearish way to look at this is an A wave, that's B, and looking for C. And C needs to finish in 5 waves. In other words, we're going to see 1, 2. We're in the middle of 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's the bearish way. In other words, this was wave 1, and this is a big wave 2, which will follow with ultimate movements back to the upside down the road. Okay, that's the bearish way. The bullish way to look. The bullish way to look at that wave is this is wave 1, to here. This was wave 2. This was another wave 1, and this is another wave 2. And that's what we call a 1-2-1-2 structure, which would be followed by a breakout to the upside, a pullback, and a continuation. We would look for this wave to just skyrocket. Okay, what I would like to see where's my RSI? It doesn't have any RSI information. What I would want to see is that right there. I want to see a break. Now, just because it breaks doesn't mean, but if it breaks and then pulls back and that low holds, then that's the buy zone for a move to the upside. But if this pulls, it does this and then makes another low, then this was a flat wave 4, looking for wave 5 to finish, and then this is the buy zone. So you got a buy zone here around 30, 40 bucks. Okay. Buy zone here at $10. If it's going to hang around. So that's from a wave structure standpoint, Michael Anthony, that's the way I look at that chart. It's bullish or bearish. And yeah, I know I can't tell you, but it just depends on what happens right here. Do I get a wave 4 structure with a lower low? That's real possible. Or do I get a pullback, 3-wave? The bullish way this will play out is I get a breakout, boom, pullback, continuation. And that low, this low holds, and this makes a higher low. That's when we get bullish. Okay. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for hanging in with me. Thanks for being around. I hope that was helpful. Have a great one. You're welcome, Michael. Bye-bye.